Hi everybody, it's me, Angie. My name is Angie, and I'm back to share a little bit more with you about the whole journey that I'm going through healing naturally from cancer. And the last time I did a video, I promised that the next one was going to be about all of the different supplements that I use. And so that is what I'm going to talk about today. And I'm probably going to break this down into two segments because there's so much to talk about supplements. I mean, I have this basket of supplements. Like usually it's overflowing. I've got them all out because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and there's more, there's just tons more. Not to overwhelm you, it's totally manageable, but there is a lot of different things that you can do. And I guess that's one of the things I really want to start with. In the whole realm of healing cancer naturally, there are so many different protocols you can follow. There's all kinds of people all over the world doing all kinds of different things, using different supplements from their native areas, like their where they live, and or borrowing from other areas where other people have lived and made discoveries about what is working. So I have a bit of a conglomerate of all kinds of things that I've developed for my own protocol. Some of it is based on the protocol that I used when my youngest child 13 years ago healed from cancer, and so I've adopted a lot of those, but I've also added some new things in that I've learned about over the years. And so I want to talk about that. And so first of all, what I want to start with is the things that I'm using in high dose, because you'll find as you're investigating and researching your own protocol that there are some people using things in high doses, high amounts, over the recommended daily allowance. And so I want to talk about the ones that I'm doing right now off the bat, and I think the first video will be about that, and the second video will be about the other supplements that I'm taking as well. So just in the interest of time, I don't want to keep it the video too long, and so I thought I would talk about let me see, I've got them in front of me, the 4 things that I do a lot of, and I do that every day. And so the first thing I think I'm going to talk about is vitamin D. So vitamin D, I use a liquid form of vitamin D. I like the liquid form when you're taking it in high dose. If you're just taking 1, 2, 3,000 milligrams a day, then that's fine. But I'm upwards of 10,000, and I don't want to take 10 1,000 milligram pills every day. So I really like the liquid form that you can just put in your food or something that you're drinking. Make sure you don't ever use anything that's mixed with anything too hot, though, because sometimes the temperature of things can change the effectiveness of what you're taking. And again, I want to really reiterate here, this is not medical advice in any way. I really just want to share with you what I've been doing to heal naturally. So, and I think I'm in a good spot now. It's been almost a year. It's May long weekend now, and it was last June that I discovered the lump. I've come a long way. My hair's gotten a lot grayer. I like to show under my eyes. I find that a lot of people that that have cancer have really dark circles under their eyes, and I too have dark circles under my eyes, but I think that they're getting better. And so I do gauge a lot of my own health and where I'm at by how I'm feeling, my energy level. I look at the circles the dark circles under my eyes. I look at my tongue, my gums, my fingernails, and all of those things seem to be in a better spot. So for instance, if you have a lot of striations and lines in your nails, that could indicate poor health. I always had really strong nails and they grew really well. That was never an issue for me, but I had all of these lines, which are going away. It's slow to go away, and I guess because your nails have to keep growing and replenishing, but that's one of the areas that I've really noticed. My tongue, so if you have a tongue that's just coated in gunk, doesn't look good, not pink and healthy, chances are you've got a lot of toxins in your body that you need to get rid of. Detoxing will be probably my next video after I do the supplements, because the detoxing process of all of this is huge. And some of the supplements that I'm going to talk about today also act as a detox as well. So the first thing that I added into my diet immediately when I got my diagnosis of cancer, actually before that, even as soon as I felt the lump, because you pretty much know. I've never had fibroid or like those breasts that are lumpy or fibroid or whatever. Some women do, so you don't notice you have lumps anyway. And so you don't notice. But for me, finding that lump was like a complete anomaly. I had never experienced anything like that before. So I was pretty certain that I needed to get on it quick. Vitamin D. So there are some studies that show that cancer rates are higher in the northern hemisphere, and that's likely because we don't get the same amount of sun as people living in warmer climates. And the vitamin, of course, we get vitamin D from the sun. And so, yeah, so this is just something that I do in high dose. I do 10,000 units a day of vitamin D, and I have been doing that for over a year. There are some people who do even more, and there's books out there that you can research. So do your research if you think that this is something that you really need. But for me, I found that the 10,000 units are really good. I'm out in the sun all the time. I've always loved the sun. I've always worshiped the sun, but I still feel that I was deficient in vitamin D. A little tip, if you're out in the sun a lot, don't wear your sunglasses. I know they look cool. I love sunglasses. They make you look so cool, but they stop you from absorbing the vitamin D through your eyes, which is the best way for you to get it into your body. So I do love the sun. I'm out in the sun a lot. I don't use sunscreen. Sunscreen is extraordinarily carcinogenic, sorry, tongue twister. And you just have to do research on that to find out that it causes cancer. So in the sun, I use my common sense. I wear a hat, I cover up with long sleeves if I'm going to be out for a long time. Cover up so that you don't get a sunburn. But sunscreen, I don't think is the best thing that you could be using. And you can do a lot of research on your own to find that out. It's pretty common knowledge. So, vitamin D. Vitamin D helps to prevent cancer, but it also just helps to boost your immune system. And I guess that's something else that I really want people to understand. When you've got cancer or any other autoimmune disorder, and honestly, cancer has been linked and has been compared to autoimmune disorders. And when I first got cancer, I wondered if I was not also dealing with an autoimmune disorder at the same time. That kind of came in and hit me, because so many things that I experienced are the same things that people with other autoimmune disorders experience, like people with fibromyalgia, lupus, MS, all of those kinds of things. I was experiencing a lot of the same things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, when we have, my battery's low. When we have autoimmune or cancer disorders, it's because our immune system is depleted, and we really need to work hard to replenish it and to get healthy again. So that's what this whole year has been about for me. So the next thing I take is high dose melatonin. And you're gonna say melatonin, but yes, melatonin. And there's gonna be links that I'll attach to this with studies that show the anti-cancer effects of melatonin. This is a Canadian bottle of melatonin. It's only 5 milligrams. So I'm out of my American bought melatonin, which comes in 60 milligram tablets. You can't get that in Canada. The most you can get is 20, but you can't even find 20. So you can imagine. So I'm taking high dose melatonin. I'm taking up to 180 milligrams a day. Not in these 5 ones, because that's like a gazillion pills that you would have to take. You can get 10 in Canada too. I'm just waiting for my order to come in from Pure Bulk. Pure Bulk is one of the places I order from the States for the 60 milligram melatonin. And even just one tablet of 60 milligrams, if you don't have cancer, just one tablet is so anti-cancer, has anti-cancer effects in your body. So when you have cancer, you want to be taking more. And people are like, well, doesn't it make you fall asleep? And well, no, it doesn't make you fall asleep if you take it during the day. At nighttime, our bodies produce melatonin. And so at nighttime, you're going to get sleepy. But during the day, you can take it and you won't have any effects other than it's anti-cancerous. So that's a good effect. So that's another high dose that I do. Another high dose that I do is vitamin C. So vitamin C in the high doses has been known forever. I think it was Linus Pauling who discovered that like eons ago. And I tend to like to use things that have been around for a long time and have been proven. So vitamin C, so you can actually go to naturopathic doctors in town and get vitamin C intravenously to really vamp it up. But if that's not something that you're able to do, you can get ascorbic acid, vitamin C. This is powder, and you can mix this up and take as much of it as you want. I take lots every day, and you take it to bowel tolerance. So there's lots to learn about taking vitamin C, but you can't take too much vitamin C. What'll happen is if you take too much for your body, you'll just have diarrhea, and it'll give you a good flush, which is getting rid of the toxins. So vitamin C is a really good one to take. And I also, and I've been doing this since my kids were little, I have chewable vitamin C tablets all over the house, and it's like pop a vitamin C whenever you feel like it. They're sours, they're super yummy. My kids have been taking them since they were little, and we just take like 2, 3, 4, 5 a day. Like I said, you know, you can't take too many because you'll just eliminate it. You won't get any kind of toxicity from too much vitamin C. But research it, do your own research, and get comfortable with it. But vitamin C has been proven to have such healing effects on the body, and it helps heal cancer. All right, so I have one more that I want to talk about before I end this video, and this is my all-time fave. And there's actually a lot to talk about it. So it's iodine. Lugol's iodine. Lugol's 5% iodine. So iodine, there's all kinds of different iodines out there. Lugol's is not a brand, it's a product. It's the type of iodine and potassium combined mixture that creates this Lugol's brand, 5%. So this has been very interesting in my research about breast cancer. So all of the glandular cancers, so thyroid, breast, ovary, and prostate cancers have all been on the rise for the past 20 or 30 years. And there's been some recent research and study done into that. And what they're doing is there's a correlation now between iodine deficiency and these glandular cancers. So we used to get iodine from our soil. Our soil was replete with iodine. It would be in our vegetables when we ate them. But you know, our soil has been depleted. We don't have iodine in the soil. Then they iodized salt. And so it's in iodized salt. But that kind of salt isn't good for us anyways, that white salt that they've iodized. And to boot, they then, after they iodized the salt, told us that a high salt is not good for us, and so people started to decrease their salt intake. And what's happened is we've become very deficient in iodine. Some studies have shown that up to 90% of the population is deficient in iodine, which is a lot of us. So I take 400 milligrams of this a day, and I also, and that's a lot, but it's not too much, not for me. It's a lot for someone who doesn't have cancer. So if if you're not sick, you don't need this much. But I take 400 milligrams a day. I also paint it on my tumor. So I use some coconut oil infused with cannabis oil, and I rub that on, and then I paint this right on the tumor because I want it to absorb directly into my breast, because that's the tissue and that's the area that needs it. One other way to take iodine to get it really, what's the word I want to use, to really get it concentrated and where it needs to go, which in my case is the breast, is to use it as a vaginal suppository. So I have done this before and I'm doing it again. I had stopped for a while, but I use natural sea sponges, which you sterilize, and then I put about 100 milligrams of iodine on the sea sponge and I insert it into my vagina. And it's amazing the things that I've done to my body since I've had cancer. But that's one thing that I do. And I'm making fun of myself almost, because at one point when I was really quite ill and I was, feeling so desperate about all of this and what do I do? Well, I put a sponge in and I couldn't find it. I couldn't reach it. I could find it. I just couldn't reach it. Because, it's not really going to go anywhere in there, but sometimes it's kind of hard to locate. So I ended up having to go to a walk-in clinic and have it removed, and honest to God, I was a mess. I must have looked like a deranged woman because I'm at the height of my not feeling good. I got this sponge in my vagina full of iodine. Like the doctor just looked at me like I was totally insane. And so I share that story because you know what? When we are desperate to heal and when we are really focused on what we need to do, we do a lot of things that we might not otherwise do. One other little message from that is, who cares what the doctor thinks about me? Who cares what anyone thinks about me? What I'm doing is I'm on a journey of self-discovery and healing right now, which I'm sharing with you because I think everyone can benefit from a lot of this stuff. And so yeah, so that's why I share it. And I've just started, so I've just noticed, so now a year in, you know, I notice my body changing. I notice things changing, and I notice when they change back to the way they were before, which I didn't like. So that's why I've started to put this back in, because I think my estrogen's kind of a little off again because I have estrogen-driven breast cancer. So you really have to pay attention and be mindful of your body and that sort of thing as you're going through this too. So those are my 4 real high dosers that I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to end the video right now with just a big load of gratitude. Thank you so much for watching and for your interest and for the reaching out that people have been doing and asking me questions and sharing their own stories. And it's so meaningful, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And so that's it for this one, but I will be back momentarily as soon as I charge my phone with another video about the rest of the supplements that I take. And there's a lot. Like I said, there's like just a lot of lots and lots of different things that I want to share with you. So I'll see you again shortly. And again, thank you so much for watching. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day.